It's Walt here at Rock 95.5, getting ready for a big rock show next week with Amber Lynn and the guys I'm joined with now who are old friends of mine from the Stabbing Westward days, Max and John from Eve 6. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
So I gotta say, first of all, the bio on your website just sums things up perfectly. I don't know who wrote that, Max, the king of Twitter from 2020, but it is amazing. It pretty much says like we stumbled into some success, and now the music business sucks, and we still carry on. I think it sums it up perfectly.
Yeah. I think it's more the bit is more we suck and these are our petty grievances and we thought it would be funny to put that into a bio.
Then,
Uh
but most bios suck anyway, right?
well
It's the
they're
worst. It's the worst thing. It's the
Yeah.
they're really boring. Yeah,
yeah.
it's like how do you make a bio that's not boring? That was the
Right.
project.
Well, I think that, what, there's like three sentences there and you pretty much just sum it up, but I love it. You guys also just put out a brand new album earlier this year called Dream Fist. Now this is the second record in 2 years you guys have put out?
Hyperrealization came out what
22?
22? Yeah. So yeah.
So the music is flowing. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we like to say that at this stage of our career for lack of a better term, we're well, at least with those records, LARPing as a punk band in a vacuum is the line. And yeah, we're just making music that we like, pulling from influences that we love that didn't necessarily come through on our, major label albums. And yeah, making, dumb rock for the sake of it.
But
'Cause
it comes across as more honest and more genuine, I think. I mean, it sounds like you're having fun. I listen to Dream Fist and I'm like, these are great songs. You can hear the 90s influences, which of course resonate with me. It's where I come from, as do you guys. And I hear it, and the songs are well crafted. They sound great, and I can't wait to hear them live. This is the first record that you've done on your own. It's self-released, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. We actually last year started a Patreon and we were like, oh, let's just start putting songs up on a Patreon. So we were doing that about a song a month, until we had about 12 songs, and all of a sudden one day we were like, hmm,
Yeah.
this is kind of an album. So we made it an official album. And then yeah, we'll start on a new batch on the Patreon. Actually have been working on some new ones already, but
So
it's
do you like this method of, kind of like getting some funding from the fans and then just putting it in and then putting it out? I mean, you really take out the middleman, and I we could go on for days, I'm sure, with the state of the music industry these days. But
yeah,
it's really
I think it's been really inspiring. I mean, especially kind of the method of doing one at a time. Like we'll start
yeah,
some ideas and kind of hone in on one and really just focus on that. And so like when I listen back to the record, I'm like, oh, this is what was going on during that time when we were working on that song. Um and yeah, and at this point where we're at, there is no need for a label,
I
you know.
also think that the way people digest music these days are in small bites like that. So if you give them one a month, that's digestible. I mean, I don't know that anybody like sits around and goes like, I can't wait to listen to 12 brand new songs right now.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
attention span isn't there for that.
definitely.
no, it's cool. It's been gratifying because we have, this, small but mighty and interested base that, cares about what we do and wants to hear music we make, and we can like give it directly to them. They're essentially our listenership and our label too, in a way,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, the fans seem into it. We certainly are, and yeah, it's a cool way to make music, and it sort of satisfies that you know, when you make a song, you make a record, and it's like then there's that thing where traditionally you're sitting on it forever, and by the time anyone hears it, it's like old to you.
Right.
With this, it's like kind of immediate. We get a thing done, we get it straight to people who care to listen to it, and then we also have, you know, have the record for posterity and anyone else who's maybe more of a drive-by listener to hear if they so desire, you know.
I love the model. When we did our last record, which came out in 2022, we had been sitting on it for probably 3 years. I mean, 3 or 4 years writing it, putting it together, and you know, it's old by the time it finally comes out. And I think that this is a great model to look at.
Yeah, yeah. And like music is, yeah, you know how it is. It's like urgent. It's of like a moment, and there's something, I don't know, there's something strange about that like lag time. So we're not,
I
yeah.
totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And so now you're going to go out and you're going to play it live. You're doing a few shows next year, but you're playing this big show next week in Aurora with Anne Berlin. How'd you get hooked up with that?
I don't know how we got hooked up with it. It was one of those things that just comes along, but yeah, I mean, you know, we've played a handful of shows with Amberlynn over the years, and I wouldn't say we're super tight, but you know, just from playing shows, we're friendly, and it's always a fun time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's going to be a good show. A lot of people are looking forward to doing that. Like, don't hate me, but I got to ask you about the early success. When you wrote Inside Out, you're in the studio, you're working on it. Did you know? Did you have any inkling that this is going to be something big?
Well, I still remember telling Sweet Pea John uh that like in the morning before school one day, because we were still in high school when we, you know, got the record deal and wrote the majority of that album. And I don't know. I said something like I feel like I got a song that could be played on the radio. I remember saying that like naively and, you know, foolishly. But I mean the state that the song was in at that time was probably pretty different from, you know, how it ended up on the record. But I think we had a feeling that there was something about that song. I don't know, in hindsight,
I
maybe it's just
Yeah,
not.
I mean, I remember that it was one of the singles, you know, to us.
Yeah.
I think that as we were working on the record, we thought Leech was going to be the first single, which ended up being the second single. So it was kind of like I remember Leech, Inside Out, Open Road Song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were kind of the three that we were focusing on as the singles. So I don't remember if we were like, oh, this is the one over these other couple ones, but
Right.
we knew
It,
that it was a
it's
you
kind of
know.
interesting
I
because
really hope that, sorry,
no,
that
go ahead.
I hope that my fiance running our blender just now came through in the audio here, because that would be
Yeah, I mean,
really apt.
how perfect.
2024, this is how we roll, man. We're at home doing our
Yeah.
stuff. I was gonna say, when I wrote the music for Save Yourself, I
Such
specifically
a
said,
great song.
I'm writing a hit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write something that's gonna, and I'm like, and it's gonna be kind of weird, but I think but like the elements are there. And then when we recorded it, mixed it, played it for the label, they're like, I don't hear it. I'm like, what? That's so I said, I think it's got to be the mix. You got to let me go in and mix it the way that I intended it,
Yeah.
and I did, and things worked out all right. But I think sometimes and more times than not, I think than you're surprised by a song being a hit.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's I think that's true. I also think sometimes songs that are probably have as good a chance of being total stiffs because there's some weird thing, you know, I don't know. It's like I feel like oftentimes you can sort of tell when someone is trying too hard and, you know, to get to an end
Right.
and something's sort of missing. Save Yourself is such a great song. That's bringing me back to like standing on the side of the stage whatever fest.
Electric Factory. I remember playing a show with you at
Oh
Electric
yeah,
Factory. Yeah.
Yeah.
in Philly.
Yep.
So many good times. I mean, the story that I remember the most is I think it's Indianapolis when you guys were uh, we were all staying. We played a radio festival together, and we were all at one hotel after the festival. But you guys weren't old enough to get into the hotel bar, so I remember us all coming out to the lobby to hang with you guys, uh, and they're just out of camaraderie. But
Yeah, that was our life.
I wasn't sure where that story was going to go. And you're like, a festival in Indianapolis. I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Uh-oh.
uh-oh, uh-oh, truth bomb. Well, guys, I am super excited that you guys are still doing it. The new album sounds great. Keep going. I love this model. I'm going to have to mention it to Christopher. We'll see what happens with stabbing down the road with this.
Yeah.
But we will see you next week at the Piazza in Aurora for Holiday Havoc 2024. Thanks for taking the time to hang out, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah, same.
Thanks
Tell
so much,
Christopher we
Walt.
said hello.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Good to chat. We'll talk to you. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Walter.